The mission of the Julian Center really is to make sure that women and children are safe from domestic violence, but it's also part of our mission to break the cycle of domestic violence. But we go even farther beyond that, because really our mission is to take families out of an abusive situation and return them to a whole, thriving, self-sufficient place in the community. So in that way, we really, I think, do follow along the entire journey.
He beat me up when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I left him, but I didn't have a job. So I came back, and I didn't knew he was already using other kinds of drugs. When one day we were arguing at the house, I was already in bed, and then out of nowhere, he gets up and he starts hitting me and telling me if this is what I wanted. My daughter was barely a couple of months old. I already had the phone in my hands calling the police. He went to the dining room. He was gonna grab a dumbbell to keep hitting me with. But at that time, I ran out of the house and I saw the police officer pulling it. And I went in and I knocked on his window and I asked for help. He came back to the house with me. He was gone. And the police officer asked me if I wanted to go to a shelter. I said no, my aunt's gonna come and get me. I didn't notice, but he came into the house and he goes upstairs. He sees me putting my things in a bag and everything. And he grabs a gun and he puts it in my head. And he said that I was never gonna leave him. If I did, he was gonna kill me and he was gonna take my kids. And nobody in my family will ever see them again. At that point, he said, you're gonna go downstairs and you're gonna tell your aunt that you're gonna stay and you're not gonna go nowhere. So I did what he told me. It was almost a year ago. He comes into the room, he busted the door, and he starts hitting me again. My daughter and my son were there. They were already old already. They saw everything. If I go downstairs, try to get away from the kids so they won't see this. Then my daughter comes down the stairs and says, leave my mommy alone. And he just looked at her and he left. But then he came back on June trying to take my daughter away from me. And I said, you're not taking my daughter. You could kill me right now, but you're not taking my daughter. And he said, then get the fuck out of my house. So I said, okay, I'm not leaving you. You're kicking me out of your house. I grabbed my things that I could and I left. And I was happy because in a way I thought he set me free. He didn't have no control over me anymore. And that's the time I left and I called the Julian Center.
I went to a party and I met this guy and he was a couple of years younger than I am. He made himself out to be something that he wasn't. Come to find out, he was a drug dealer. And he didn't go out very much. In the beginning of the relationship, you know, I'm going to work, I'm going to class, but then he couldn't let me go because I knew too much about him, thinking that I was going to turn him in or something. I just wanted to get away. He had something that he had to do, and when he went in to take care of his business, and he wanted me right there with him, so I couldn't tell anyone. And he, gave me my keys to park my vehicle, and that's when I got away. That's when I went to the city-county building. They were taking my statement and asking me my address and everything. And I went back to my apartment. So I was thinking, okay, this is, the end of that. He persuaded me to come back. He talked, apologizing, saying that it wouldn't happen again. He hit me in my mouth and he knocked out my teeth. He broke my jaw. I believe I had a broken rib. I've heard people talk about how broken ribs feel, but I didn't, he didn't let me out to go to the hospital. So I just knew that it was hard for me to breathe. And I had gotten away, and the police came and they took pictures and everything. This was all at my apartment. Since he knew where I lived, then Julian Center accepted me. Yeah. I think Julian Center, by way of the Getting Ahead class and the circles, I think they're going to continue to be a part of my life.
Well, at the beginning, they just gave me provide shelter for me and my children, a safe place for us where nobody could touch us. And when he tried to start the divorce papers and take my kids away, they helped me with a lawyer that helped me protect my kids and keep my kids with me. Counseling for me and my children, and helping us to realize that we don't have to live in fear and we don't have to live like that. And like right now, thanks to them, I have my work permit and I could finally start working and give my kids a better life.
We make a woman and her children safe. We stick with them through the counseling as they learn to cope with life, look for a job, become financially self-sufficient so that they can begin to fulfill the dreams for their lives. That's what breaks the cycle of violence, to give somebody a dream and the tools to fulfill it.
Please do help the Julian Center. They have helped a lot of people, including myself and my children.